Thank you for giving me the opportunity to go over tonight's June the 23rd council meeting. Actually, it was a short agenda, but it got a little lengthy. But basically all we did is we had a resolution, number one, to honor a retired judge, Mr. Gilmer. We also had a discussion on there that was amended and added to on flag lots. And for those that don't know, a flag lot's a lot shaped like a flag, and nothing was actually passed. But what is going on, we're trying to get together with our surveyors and the community to redefine some of our laws or ordinances based on it. And one of the problems is right now, I think it's set as an easement, and the problem turns in when someone's trying to get a mortgage or get financing on property. But basically what it is, it's just a shared drive, and they're going to work together with some of our surveyors to get a better definition of what's going on. Ordinance first reading, which was one that I'm excited about, is in District 4. They're converting 19 acres from commercial to multifamily. And for those out there in District 4, it's over next to the Cracker Barrel Outback. The developers come in, they're doing a $40 million project, residential, and then it's also going to be commercial. And I don't know if they want me saying this, or I may be misdefining what they're doing, but it's sort of like if anyone's been to Biltmore Park up in Asheville. So I'm really excited about that. They're going to have multiple entrances. I sat down and met with the developers, met with our Holt Hopkins, and we sit down with them, and they're actually stepping up. And where you go into the Cracker Barrel Outback, where there's only one way in, one way out, they've agreed to connect that road and have it circle back around, so there'll be two ways in and two ways out now, and that was a big safety concern. The other thing, there was an ordinance on there to change some zoning on 141 acres, and there was some misunderstanding. The people and the developers reached out to me. It's also in my district, and the problem was, it was from planning and development, it was said it was going to be on July the 7th meeting, and then with the COVID, and we're catching up on some meetings, it got put on tonight's agenda, but we called it and put it off. And that meeting for the people in the Pendleton area, the 187, converting the property down there, it will be July the 7th. Let's see, there was also a simple fee in lieu agreement that was in a opportunity zone over next to the airport, and they're going to, which we have a lot of companies come in and people looking for a warehouse space. And the good thing about it, you know, I'm a firm believer that the county doesn't need to be in the real estate business. So there's a developer that stepped up, and they're going to build a 55,000 square foot warehouse in an opportunity zone that currently brings $60 a year in property taxes, and over the next 20 years that number will be over $400,000 in taxes collected. Plus, it's going to fill a niche or a need in the market that where the county didn't have to spend money to entice people to come in. So I think that's a great project. Of course, people know we're getting a new airport terminal. We've got a new airport manager. It's going to be out there, and I did make a simple request that I would love to see some of the color schemes on the new warehouse they're building out there to kind of tie in to our new airport terminal, so it looks like a community feel there. So that's something that I'm excited about, and I think the county and the taxpayers should be excited about as well. And finally, not finally, but we also had a Public and Planning Works Committee meeting today, and it got put on the agenda, and we basically went over a few things. There was a change in minutes on a generator, that there was some misunderstanding that when the power was out, that's when the generator was used, not just a generator to run the power. So that was changed. There was also a discussion on tiny homes, and we've had some issue down in District 2, and a lot of the confusion was, you know, they're saying tiny homes, it's RV park. There was some misunderstanding as to the county, our building and codes, but our meeting today actually clarified the county has definitions, standards, codes already in place on tiny houses, RV park models. We went through some of that discussion, and what we did do in that meeting earlier today, was maybe let's tweak some of the things in there and refine them a little better, and then send it back to planning. And that's basically what we did at the council meeting, was just to vote to send it before planning to actually get some things done, and it will come back before council. And there were some issues on county stormwater that was discussed in that meeting as well, that we went over tonight. And one of the things that we've had all this rain. I mean, we've had record-setting rain, but they're actually, Holt Hopkins was there today, which he's our deputy administrator, and the rain in some of the areas that we've had problems, they actually had a model from the state that showed it followed a certain little band that was like an anomaly. And some of the things we discussed today also is a lot of stormwater things are state, and when they come in and do something, the county doesn't really have a say-so over it, and we're actually trying to work on getting some things in when the state comes in, they're doing a retention pond or a stormwater project, that the county's involved, so that we can go in and oversee and make sure it's to our standards.
Stormwater is something most people don't understand, and also don't understand how expensive it is.
It's very expensive. It's very expensive to the developers, and what happens is that expense gets passed on to either the commercial user or the home user. Another thing I learned today that I was excited about or had no clue is a lot of these stormwater issues and water and drainage problem that people are having right now was areas that was built prior to 2007. So stormwater problem or stormwater solutions didn't start taking place to 2007. So we were kind of hard on stormwater at first, but we realized, you know, it's in its infancy. From 2007, they're making great strides. We're moving in the right direction. We're alleviating a lot of problems, but some of the problems that keep coming up are prior to 2007. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on and look at in the future, and make sure we can try to incorporate things now to maybe go back and straighten out some of the issues retroactive back prior to 2007.
We've had two meetings really fast, boom, boom, here
oh, yeah.
at the Civic Center, but we also have had bigger crowds. I know there were some issues, but these are some of the biggest crowds we've had in a while.
I think we've had some big crowds here, but I think the crowds tend to come with what's on the agenda. I'd love to see more people show up to be informed. There were a couple of issues that came up a couple of meetings ago, or 2 meetings ago, and I think the people are still here voicing their opinions. It was an RV park that was in District 2, and there's a lot of misconception that the problem was it was in an unzoned area. The developer met all the criteria from building and codes, and what the people don't understand is the Planning Commission is set up through the state. Their power on unzoned is above ours. When they vote on something, it is a done deal. And I think the people were upset because they thought it was coming before council, and it did not. And there was some clarification that needed to be done there. And I think Chairman Dunn mentioned in closing comments that we are looking to form a committee when there's a project going on in a district, and I would like to see even in an unzoned area that the people in the community are involved, or at least they're notified, to where they can come up and speak their mind. Also, I've noticed a lot of things that people are totally against. Once there's a lot of misinformation. If you read it on Facebook or the internet, trust me, it's not always true. So I think the issue now is if we can get people together to actually sit down and communicate. A lot of these issues, problems are solved prior to coming before council, and it makes things a whole lot easier. The people are informed, the developers are informed. They're not going out and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on engineered traffic surveys, stormwater runoff. Everything's known up front, and they work together as I call it a community development council project to help put the pieces in place prior to going back and trying to force them to fit. So I'm excited about that, and I think it's a good idea that was brought up today, and I look forward to seeing it mature.
And then I was going to say, most of the stuff that started tonight will be picked up again at the July 7th meeting.
Yes, sir. And most of the things today that I discussed earlier was first reading, so there'll be 2 more readings. And again, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the crowd being here, and most importantly, I'm glad I'm here. So I appreciate all the people in District 4 in Anderson County. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or concerns, give me a call, 934-7053. Thank you.